Right, that should be better. Oh my goodness, thank God. That is so frustrating. I have no idea what is going on there. You can see all sorts of stuff on screen there. Right, let's get stuck into... I was doing all sorts of complex waffle and stuff there. Anyway, let me just... Is there any way I can adjust this cam so it's better? That'll do. Right, we should have working audio now. I have no idea what was... I've had to just change the encoder settings and make sure it's actually outputting. I think for some reason I changed something over in my DSP, which is this thing here. And you can see here the input's really low. So I think when I've changed, yeah, all my stuff keeps jumping off it. So I'm going to boost it now. Slowly boost. That should hopefully sound a bit better. Bit of a signal boost up here as well. It should sound pretty crispy. Get rid of the room noise. Bam. Okay, that's really annoying, but here we are. That sounds much better. So yeah, I have no idea what was going on with that, but it's working now anyway. So I'll just bring that down a touch and yeah, try not to wiggle and move about too much. So I might as well redo what I was doing because it makes no difference. Just doing some testing on YouTube. So if you YouTube VOD watchers, welcome. Otherwise, whoever ends up watching this live, then great. Just reviewing and kind of tweaking some older tracks. This is an orchestral track. Well, it's not really an orchestral one. It's a hybrid one. Lots of work needs doing to it. It's my own from many years ago. I'm basically just doing some chopping and tweaking and amending. So I'll kind of waffle as I go through it, but may as well do a full playthrough whilst I'm doing that. So yeah, start to finish. Sounded good so far. need to do some tweaking there as well. And then that final phase. Sorry to stop it there, but I just want to really quickly add a bit of kind of magic on this. So that's going into this lovely delay up here, which I've hidden off somewhere. Sorry. In my attempt to organize this, I've made it difficult for myself, but to make it easier for you guys. So, get rid of that. Sorry. So, it's this synth here. Going into this delay group. And then here it is. Sorry. They've got so much stuff going on. It's important to be organised. So, I kind of want more out of it. Needs to be wider. That's better. Right. Apologies. Try that again. Much better. Ignore the rest of that. Not a fan of the rest of that. So yeah, it sounds so good, that bit. And what I'm going to have to do, just whilst I'm mixing it, I'm a bit tone deaf to this track because I have listened to it for forever. So I'm going to actually transpose it probably downwards 2 steps, just so that I can kind of listen again with a fresh pair of ears. What I was doing before, whilst I was having the technical issues, which I've now resolved, was tweaking the drums on the middle section, which I'm probably going to carry on doing. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with this. So I'll try and not to... It's hard to get in the balance of talking over versus just doing stuff. And regardless of the stream stuff, I needed to do this stuff for my own kind of sanity anyway. So if I can teach or show someone something really cool while I'm at it, win-win. So let's get stuck straight back in then. And I'm going to do a really lazy transpose, which is just grabbing everything in the mix, transposing down 2, using that top function. And as I said, it's just so I can listen again. To be honest, it may sound actually nicer in another key. This is the other thing. So yeah. No idea why. There we go. Let me just tidy up some of that stem submix group. Let me just change this gate as well. I think it's chopping me off. Yeah, that should sound a bit better. Yeah, it was chopping me off a bit too quickly, so it should sound a little bit more natural. Okay, here we go then. So let's get all these stems in here. I'll work with those later. Did I actually make a folder? Because if I did, I have no idea where that's gone. Strange. Stem. So submix. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I didn't. So this will go in here. Collapse all that off. Effect. It should be called FX. There's no such thing as effects. It's FX. And then structure, a tempo track. I could probably hide that, but it doesn't matter. Okay. I'm going to come back to that in a sec. I'm just going to loop this section here and check that percussion. That's lovely, isn't it? Bit more piano. Okay, let's tweak this piano. It's an older one that I wasn't really happy with. I'm going to change it over for a bit more of an intimate piano. Let's give that a sec. Okay, something. Oh, right. Okay, there's our problem. The MIDI is all over the place. So again, I'd played this in live a long time ago. So it's kind of, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Let's just try a solo on that. See what it sounds like. Okay, so it's out of time. Great start. It's just the sustain pedal that's taking that out there. So let me take the sustain pedal off. And if need be, I'll replay it. Okay, so that was the problem. It's the pedal on the piano coming up and down. So if let's just say, pedal on. Pedal off. Oops. Don't really want it doing a curve. Let me just make that bigger for you. So pedal completely off. Back on. Again. This is why I just like playing it normally, but question for me here is, do I want to keep that kind of all those like lovely little undertones and stuff going through that, or is it going to sound messy? Let's see what it sounds like with the mix. can't even hear it over everything else, so that's a bit of a problem. So how do I give that more presence against... Let's keep it with the rhythm stuff. Parallel compression. Sustain pedal absolutely needs to come off there because we're doing like a quite fast rhythm section. Okay, so a couple of things are happening there. These, let's go into keyboard cam just so I can show you what the issue with this piano is. Okay. Sounds lovely. But listen how, if I play it very softly, play it really hard, it's not changing that much. Sorry, you can hear a bit of bleed through there. So it's not really got much dynamics in it. Let's crank this up. I'm playing really, really soft there. This is really hard. And this is one of the problems of using a MIDI piano plugin. I've got my Nord at stage 3 underneath, which I may end up re-recording a lot of this stuff on because I think it's just not going to sound the same. But I'll try and make do, because if I do record an actual piano in there, I'm going to want it to sound as close as possible, basically. So all of this other piano stuff, I'm going to get rid of this sustain pedal thing there. Let's make that full screen for you as well, so you can see what's going on. I'm going to change this section here where you can see it drops off in volume. If I grab all these notes, what I'm going to do actually, before I do that, I'm going to chop the piano back up. I can then do Control A to select it all. Sorry, I've gone to the wrong cam, apologies. Yeah, so going to Control A to select it all, and then basically going to compress the MIDI. So you see how, let me zoom that in a bit more. So I can scale all of this either up or down. So if I scale it down, it'll keep some of that kind of fluctuation, but then sound a little bit less, well, the range basically is brought down. And then if I scale it up so that, looking at this top bit here, velocity is 95. I want the velocity to be more or less the same, 92. This will probably sound better straight away. Hundred times better. Let's ignore the entire like 20-something other layers of instruments, right? But it just sounds really lovely, that. Okay, so let's go back to that bit. piano back in. There's a problem with the source piano there, but it sounds much better. It's a lot more kind of stable. I'll look at what's going on with this section in a bit when we'll get there, but yeah, sounds way better, so happy with that. I'll look this first section there quick. Already sounds very messy. Pedal slipped off. Okay, got the exact same problem, so let's scale the MIDI down, get it up to the more, it's around about 90-ish, still very varied up there, but, and let's see what on earth is going on with my piano playing, which on this instance, bring some of that up, this should sound better. No pedal. Very poor. I have no idea when I played this many moons ago. So, but yeah, that's my foot coming off the sustain pedal there. So I kind of need to decide: A, do we just replay it, or do we just try and make do? I think for the sake of this, I'm just going to try and make do. And basically all I'm going to do is, just before I hit the next set of notes, the sustain pedal would come off. That's what you'd try and do as a piano player normally. And do a little bit of tidying up. I don't want it really to do any of this stuff, so just going to delete all this automation. There we are. Right, so sustain pedal is basically on for the foreseeable now. Here there's just like these little undertones kind of creeping together. It's the same as me playing that note and that note together. So what's that? It's if I played those two notes together, so I've not got the dual camera. Because they're only a step apart, you play them together, it would sound awful. I'm not playing them together, but that's sustaining over that and the collective. Not a nice sound. If there was a different octave, suddenly it sounds quite sweet, that. Well, besides the dodgy note there. But yeah, because they're all too clustered together. Sorry, a bit louder. Because they're all too clustered together, it just doesn't sound nice on the sustain. So absolutely sustain off. So we'll do that. That's really annoying. And then what we'll do, there we are. So I might even pull that forward slightly. And what I can do is copy that stack here. Let's try that. I have no idea why it's decided to do that. There we are. Try that. See, that it doesn't sound nice, that, does it? Let's go full screen on that. Oh, don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Yeah. What I could do, if I really wanted to kind of get it bang on, which I'm very fussy, so I will, is change it so it's a 32. I mean, it's also, look at all these notes sustaining. I mean, I've not done myself any favours when I played this. So, and that's better. You can't even really hear the pedal pull off now. So, but it stops all these overtones bleeding into each other. I have no idea why that doesn't want to work. What on earth is going on there? It's because I'm not selected. Sorry, I'm just having such a smooth brain moment there. So I just need to get really kind of in here. This is going to be someone who watches this video and goes, you should have just re-recorded it. And I'll be like, yes, you are 100% right. But here we are. So just need to make sure that it's at the bit before and not during, because otherwise then it's just not going to do anything. There we are. Just do a little bit more of this. These are the things you do. Now, if you are not a piano player, well, you might not even know what on earth is the point of doing this. But that's why I've kind of spent the time going through all like the silly little steps of it, because you might not even realise that's a thing. So you might just whack the sustain pedal on, forget about it, and be like, gosh, why does the piano sound so strange? So let's do one last playthrough there. Great. Sounds much better. Probably going to have to do the same thing on this, which is soul destroying, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, there's that same kind of like droning undertone, much like my voice. I am self-aware, I assure you. So let's now group those back together and just same type of thing. Again, full screen, there we are. So just need to replicate this same type of 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, one step too early. Wouldn't have destroyed anything, but if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to do it properly. I'm going to ignore all the overlapping notes at the top because that's good. That's kind of how I played it. And that should now be fixed, hopefully. Ignore that because I've got the whole track transposed, so it's okay. Loads of stuff going on again because it's transposed. Little bit of tidying up there, but yeah, sounding cleaner. And the last thing when you get to like mixing something that's got so much stuff going on. I mean, I've got loads of stuff hidden as well. All these little anomalies when players playing. If this was all audio and there's all sorts of stuff, you tell them to re-record it. So luckily, don't need to do that. But okay, back to percussion. So. Turn the sustain off here. Thought it sounded a bit strange. Better. Okay, so just need to sort the drums out, which is kind of what I was doing before, whilst the stream was being a little bit strange. So I will now delve into that. So. That's all I need to fix that as well. I think what I need to do with this, and it will make it sound a whole lot cleaner, is just take an entire subset of notes out that shouldn't be there. So C is, I don't know why it's not doing that. Mustn't have the keyboard mapped to, oh. Okay, there we go. So that's what that's doing. Sorry, I'm trying to not make it play. Get rid of all them. All these type of snare and rototom hits will sit on the other track, so just tidy that up. Yeah, they're like rototoms. And then, so the only real thing I want in this is then the bass drum. And that stuff. So anything else should now have been took out. Yeah, okay. Random section not glued there. Sounds good, but the problem is I've got another set of them underneath, so actually sounds like it's phasing a bit. So let's slightly different tuning. So I need to decide which of these will work better. It's very tight sounding, so it's really punchy, and it's because it's damage. And there's also 2 layers of kits. Concerning. Don't know why I've done that to myself, because it makes it an absolute bloody nightmare to mix it, but that's what I've done. I really prefer that sound for some reason. Basically just need to pick one and roll with it, because it's just going to sound super inconsistent otherwise. I've made my choice. Let's try that. Maybe I can now select all these, put them on that other one. That automatically sounds better. So let's do that. I now need to look at the other section, which is the snares, supposedly. Let's listen to them both together. Try and take some of the verb off this. Right, so this is where then I need to do some trimming. They need to come out. They also need to come out. Theoretically, everything left should be fine. Shouldn't have any double ups. And then what I can start doing is, yeah, there's no reverb on that. There's your snare. Need to take some of that off. So let's see what's going on here. So, Christ, I need my glasses. Although I say I need my glasses, I don't have any. Right. So I'm going to take some of this whole sound off. Better. Much tighter, right? If I still need to have a bit of space, what we'll do is I will send all of them then to a separate bus for some reverb. Probably going to do that now, but as I said, well, I don't think I said it on this session, but because the way sampling works is all like this BBC stuff I have here it would have been sampled together. So same room, same mics, it all sounds like it sits together. When you start mixing other plugins, it's quite hard sometimes to make them like sound like this belong together. So the way to do that is make them sound really dry, and then what I will do is I will send them to a group in a minute. I'll do that now actually. So create a effects track, and this will be drum. Call that heavy / yeah, I'll just call it drums. No, orc drums, that's better. Orc drum verb. Just going to do basic revelation, that's fine. And then basically, what should happen now, I just need to make sure I've turned it off on that one. Don't know why that's being a bit fiddly. Just want to move it. Okay, well, deactivate send. It's not getting enabled anyway. And then what I can do is, let's see what this sounds like. Obviously, it's ridiculous sounding. There was a snare one somewhere. Ooh, a little bit of phasing. It's all over the shop, that, isn't it? Works fine for this. Doesn't work so fine for that. Now the beauty is what I can do, because I've just made a group channel, has it gone? Group channel for the actual reverb, I can just take the bottom end off like that, so the bottom end's not going to get reverberated. Instantly fix the problem, but I might need to split that out support. Let's see what that sounds like. So we got to just need to pick one. Ooh, no, I can't do that. Right, the top one's got to go then. Don't know why I've done that to myself, but yeah, so now we've just got one snare, not two, because we've already got an idea. It's got this it's not compressed this either, bear that in mind. So now I'll chuck that into a compressor and parallel it. Bit of punch. probably need to... Oh, good lord, what's going on there? Let's sort that out. I have no idea how or why it's done that, but... Sorry, let's try it. Don't know why it's right. It should be central, that, but... Should give it a bit of poke in the mix-up. Bit too much. I will fix that phase issue in a sec. I think for some reason I've got two versions of that going into the reverb. Yeah, 3 sources. Oh no, that sounds right actually. How's that happened? Done something very silly there. How annoying is that? Why would it phase when it goes through that? That's annoying. I reckon it's that. Oops, let me do that. I think it's just the way the reverb's set up. So I'm going to change that. I've done something stupid on that. So let's go back to reference. Just going to put snare in here. I had a room one. Snare. Oh, maybe not. I've got. Oh, sorry. I've just realized I moved from my. I've just moved from system, so I'll have to. So it's a Tokyo Hall, and then instead of it being, take some of the mid out. It's turned into a different track with this bass. What I've got here basically is bottom of snare, top of snare. So, yeah, that's kind of how it works. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That sounds bad. Okay, let's just go for it. some of these hits are missing, which I need in this section as well. Proper butchered this here, so I will quantize it back up. Quantize grid. Snap to 8. Okay, that sounds better. Bring them down. Okay, it needs that top. As I said, this is like the top snare almost. Oh, that can go. That can go. And then could probably just follow underneath, hopefully. That will do for now. It sounds much better than it did. I could spend all day doing drums, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. Cool. So let me then have a look at the rhythm section, which is all this stuff in red and orange. Sounds so good. Let's check a bit of kick. Pretty happy with most of. I think it just glues well together. Obviously need to try that with the new snare, so I'll do that with the hats and stuff as well. See what that looks like, or sounds like rather. Cool. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Sorry, just checking that YouTube's not having a mirror as it did before. Seems to be working all right at the moment. Okay, so yeah, pretty happy with that group. Next group then is going to be the harmony section. So I'll do it from this bit. Bit flat. Any expression? We got no expression in there, so that's why it's a bit flat sounding. Okay. Gonna move that up here with the basses. Okay. Need a bit more bottom end here. So this is where I'm going to start doing a little bit of orchestrating. There's nothing fancy, but so this is going to be I'll just do basses for now, and I'm going to pick something. Bass trombones. It's going to have to load it first. Do a little bit of once it's loaded it in. Probably going to do a bass trombone, and then have some type of bass or a cello. So I'll find it's just crashed. Oh man, it's crashed. That's annoying. Let's hope it'll reload. And on that note, I'll be right back. we are back. I don't know why I decided to do that, but yeah, it's always fun when that happens. So I'll save that over the other one. I have no idea why I decided to just nope out, but here we are. So luckily it's kept most of the stuff. So right, I'm going to do now what I was going to try and do before, which is BBC. We'll do a bass trombone. It's A2. Oh. So that's 2 bass trombones. I'll just try it, see what it sounds like. And then do the same thing again, but with a actual bass cello or something. That sounds like, or looks like it's loaded, so that's what's existing. So a bit of a farty one. Okay, may work, may not. So I'm going to add another one then, but this then will be some strings rather than a kind of farty horn. So we do strings. And I may mix a leader with a bass. So I was kind of mid-discussion on this. So that's normal bass. Bit too much reverb on that for a... So I'm going to get a close mix on that. It's a lot better. And... slightly wider close setup on that. So BBC, bass, strings, and then we'll do another version that's got then the leader. So the leader's normally got a slightly different sound quality, which hopefully we'll get to hear. Very vibrato. Yeah, very different quality. So let's get the other mic position on that as well. And I might even put a little bit of mix too. Okay, and then the two together. Actually, I actually don't like that. Just sounds pretty naff. Let's have a think. Maybe instead of it being the basses, then we'll have the cello. Try the two together. That's better sounding. Okay. All three together. Sounds decent. All the four then. sounds pretty nice that. Right. I'm going to be very lazy. I'm sorry, but just going to put them across all 4 so I can do a balancing exercise. Snare's very loud. Nice. So rather than the basses, so you can see on the actual line that they've gone completely silent. So rather than them being now completely silent, what I will make them do is key switch to doing a bit more of a... It's not going to work, but following the spiccato kind of stringy stuff. So the original plan was using this bass here, but it sounds pretty naff. So I need more of that. So I need like a cello doing it. So I'm going to snip that there. That was a cello. And let's see what they sound like. Need to do some tidying up on the MIDI if that's what I'm going to do. Because they should all be quantized lengths exactly. It's not going to work that. I'd have to force them to be the exact same length. Which you can do, but a little bit of a faff, I'm not going to lie. Is it just easier to re-record it? Probably, but... Okay. Right, let's see if the bass likes that as well. Nope. What about the trombone? Awful. Okay, so... let's increase the velocity on them all. So on the other screen, sorry you can't see that, I'm just going to shift that along. It was initially taken from the grand piano line, this. So what I can do is normalize all of that so that the... some stuff over there. normalize the variance. So it's pretty, there's still a little bit of variance in it, but, and then basically just push it now to the level where it sounds decent, so. Probably about there. I need to do some, just so you can see on my keyboard. One sec. I'll make it go quite large if it's still, yeah. Okay, so I've got a ghost note here. So this is like a expression controller. So as I play, try and put it in a location, or just move this further back so you can see it. There you go. A little bit of my knee there. Forgive. There we go. This will showcase it enough. So if I do a low note, that's volume, and this is an expression. Yeah. All the three things together. So like this. I can make it sound really expressive. None of that has been done on this, and it's all it really needs, I think. So if I let it play, needs to be a bit quicker on the action. Let's try again. Already that sounds way better, and I just need to sit and actually record that. So I'll give it a try. It's not going to work very well, and you can see already, you can see a bit of OBS there, but you can see what's going on my screen there anyway. So I'll just keep this view going just for kind of demonstration purposes, and then see what the MIDI looks like afterwards. So reset it. Okay, all over the shop, but the beauty is, because that's recorded as a separate track, what I can do, again, I'm purposely gimping myself here and not showing, I'm not using hotkeys and stuff. So this is what I've just recorded, and it's all over the place. But the idea is, when you're playing, well, I say when, as if like, I know, with brass and strings, especially like wind instruments, there is a natural, like the way they play, it's all breath based. So you have to kind of simulate that, like lower into higher, then dropping and kind of doing that. So that's the aim. It's all over the place, but what I should be able to do is do a little bit of kind of tweaking on it like that, so that the range isn't so extreme firstly. Do the same on the modulation, and then push that up slightly. Let's just listen to that then, because I might need to redo it, to be honest. But that's just MIDI. I'm not affecting anything else other than those. So if I go onto lane mode, what you see here, if I zoom that in, all this kind of data underneath, these like spiky bars, if I disable that, that's literally all that is. So if I sit that on, I could put that on any of these tracks, like the strings, the woodwinds, and it's going to follow that same pattern. So once I get it right, I can make it work across all the instruments. Yeah, I need to do some work there, and to be honest. I'm probably just going to re-record it. But you get the idea. The whole idea is you're adding a bit of realism and passion, and like, yeah, it's kind of breathing and evolving, but you've got to balance that with then compression, not sounding like too expressive and too dynamic, because it's got to sound, yeah. So what I'll do is let me bring those down anyway. Don't quite like that EQ curve, so what I'm going to do is put a separate one on. Just going to use some Cubase specific, like built-in ones. FabFilter, everyone uses that, but an EQ is an EQ for the most part, unless you can control whether it's linear, non-linear, all that type of stuff. That's better. Hear that rumble? It's just getting a bit messy. See what that sounds like. There's just this bit of a boom that's sitting behind it all. It's a bit annoying. Oops. Made a boo-boo there. Disable that for now. Sounds better. It's still lacking a bit of power, that snare. So what I'm going to do is look at what the compressor's doing. This may be the time for a multiband. Don't normally like doing multiband compression, but I think if it's going to provide some benefit here. I reckon that sounds better, to be honest. Quite hungry, the maybe. Combination of changing it to the other snare sample. Okay, I think that is as good as I'm probably going to get in this session. I don't want to kind of sit and have too much mixing because your ears need a rest, fatigue and all that. So I'm now going to retranspose everything down. Need to make sure I've done that in quite a safe way. Right, so I should hopefully now be able to grab all of that stuff. Now, there we go. There you go. Grab all this stuff, transpose it back to the key it was in. One final playthrough, and then see what that sounds like. Needs to be something else there. Bit of work there. Drums are letting me down, man. Spent all that time, it's still let me down. It's okay. Sorry, one instrument wasn't working there. Go again. And again. Why is that not got any? It's non-existent, that is it? How strange. Okay. Hopefully fixed. Better. And then that'll fade into something else. Yeah, I think it sounds incredibly majestic some places, and then like the intro just needs like a bit of an uplift here. It's just it's just so weak there. So I think I need to understand. There's probably no expression or anything going on here. And it just needs like a little bit more oomph. The velocity shouldn't be affecting that. It's almost like it's not doing what it should be. Try again. Okay, I know what I need to do here. This is the final act before I'm done. Just need to, I'm going to duplicate this, and it just needs some of the BBC stuff sitting underneath it. So if I change it to, sort of using 8 gig of RAM on the BBC VST. I mean, that's very quickly going up, but okay, so that's one. BBC. And a bit of separation, so maybe that one sits to the right or the left. And then I'll do another version. This one will sit BBC violin 2. That will sit to the right slightly. We'll change that over to, let's try the leader patch, actually. Might need to push the volume up on that, but okay, let's try that. Make sure there's nothing weird going on with that velocity. I'm actually just going to fix it. So quiet. Bit harsh sounding, but do not like it. I just don't like it. It's really annoying that. Just too violent too. And then we'll change mix to it's going to crash. Don't you dare crash. And then get an ambience as well. Wait till that little red blinky thing goes away. And then final play. Just wait till this stops. Just for those who may not be aware, I've got 192 gig of RAM, so I can push this when I'm live. Right, let's try that. This stuff needs rebalancing next, but anyway, I will do that another time. Right, whoever ends up watching the VOD, thank you. I know there's been 1 or 2 people lurking, so thanks for that as well. And for all you YouTube peeps that get to see the edited down kind of insighty version, sweet. But until next time, I will see if I can continue doing streams on Twitch or on YouTube. Probably be a bit mixture. And then, yeah, no technical issues this time around, thank goodness. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you on the next one.